learned more about myself in the past 278 days than I have in, I would argue, my entire life up to that point. So, that being said, I wanted to share 6 of the most valuable lessons that I got from that time period and hope that it can help you in some way on your journey. Hello, and welcome back. We are here in the new studio and making the first video talking about what I have learned in the past 278 days. Now, this might seem arbitrary to most. However, for myself, it has significant meaning. 278 days ago was the middle of July, and I found myself in a position that I was uncomfortable being the person that I was there. I was at a concert that I didn't really want to go to, but I had paid money for because I don't really know why, in all honesty. And that sparked something in me. I left about 20 minutes in, and on the way home, I was thankfully being driven there by somebody. And they agreed to leave with me, which is even more strange. But I read the book, The Art of Impossible by Stephen Colbert. And what I really came to realize is that the person I was becoming was not my authentic self. What I mean by that is that I was acting in ways that were either trying to impress others, trying to make a system work, or not acting in a way that I felt proud about. So, that being said, upon arriving home, I began journaling. And 278 days ago, I have not missed a day, and I have learned more about myself in the past 278 days than I have in, I would argue, my entire life up to that point. So, that being said, I wanted to share 6 of the most valuable lessons that I got from that time period and hope that it can help you in some way on your journey. At the end, if you want to comment anything, I would love to hear about your journeys and see if you can learn anything from this. And let's get right into it. Here's number 1. Possibly the most important lesson that I learned is that being your authentic self comes from knowing, right? You can't be the person you want to be without knowing who that person is, if that makes sense. It's kind of an obvious one, but what it really means is that write down who you want to be. Think about it, right? Is doing this action something that the person I want to be would do? Is staying out every night for a week late something that a professional athlete's going to do? It's the questions you have to ask yourself, right? And it acts in a way that you can hold yourself accountable without needing to be harsh on yourself, right? If you're always trying to become this and you fall short, right, the only person to blame is you. It's difficult to do. It's very difficult to do. However, that's when the meaningful changes come, right? The most difficult thing is probably the thing you need to do the most. So really deciding who you want to be is essential. And following that is a wonderful tool to hold yourself to actually become that. Flip what you know on its head. Number 2, this really was the one that shook me because I felt that it was almost impossible. And the idea is that you can really flip what you know on its head, right? You can 100% change. And I think that the main reason that I thought that was just so impossible was because of my ego. It was that I've been working so hard, and if it doesn't work out, then it's not going to be good, right? And everyone's going to think I'm a failure. It's like, no. No one's ever going to say, oh, hey, you fell off the train on your diet or whatever, and now you want to get back on it? You're a loser, right? It's, as many people say, it's the infinite game, right? No one's checking to see, oh, you're 10 years older now specifically, right? What did you accomplish, We like to set these arbitrary goals, and there it is again, arbitrary, but it's like, really, who cares, right? As long as you're better or trying to improve or chasing what your dream is, then perfect, right? And not just in a sense of things are going bad, we can change this, but when things are going well, right, you can change them. You can always get to that next level, right? If you always are just doing the same thing and expecting the world to change around you, then you're not really going to get there. You have to let yourself change to adapt to the world. Jim Rohn has said, is quoted as saying, don't wish for it to be easier, wish for you to be better, right? And I think that's really something that has resonated with me because it comes to wanting to be better for myself and not wanting it to be anyone can achieve this or focusing on you, right? Because when you're better, then everything else can be. Number 3, this one really is essential, I think, and it's that your days make up your weeks, make up your years, right? And what I mean by that is that if you are focused on months out, years out, you want to get that, you want to get that, you want to get that, right? You can't get there by only looking into the future, right? You have to take it day by day because success is made up by basically what you do on the daily. You know, you look at a successful person, they don't just do a year at a time. They do it day by day, hour by hour, minute by minute. You could go as specific as that, right? But ultimately what it comes down to is that the day by day, what you're doing is what's going to make up your weeks, is going to make up your years. So if you can make the day by day, make tomorrow as interesting, as exciting, as progressive as possible, then come 3 weeks from now, you're going to be amazed and realize, oh wow, I had an amazing month. Asking questions is key. This was one of the first things that I really got comfortable with as soon as I had made my shift. And it's that asking questions is key. Simon Sinek says being the dumbest person in the room is a valuable trait. What he means by that is that you want to be unafraid to look for the simple solutions, to ask questions, and what that means is that you're challenging the status quo, right? Just because something's been done for X amount of years or by this type of people or whatever, the question why is really important in that. And it's, okay, why are we going to go up the hill straight when we could take this path here that's going to be less steep? It might be more efficient, right? And there's nothing wrong with asking these questions because ultimately you're going to learn more and that's what you're looking for, right? When you go along in silence, that's when you go down paths you don't want to. But when you are able to say, hey, what's going on here, right? That's when you are able to realize, okay, this isn't what I want. We want this. So let's not get distracted and we can get right back on the path. Very much metaphorical, but I think you guys get what I'm saying. What you consume is what you become. If you're listening to excited, upbeat music, you tend to have your mood be that way. Same thing's true for sad music. Is there anything wrong with being sad for a little bit? No. But the important part is realizing that you're the one in charge of it, right? If you are watching sad shows or watching negative things, that's what you're going to be associated with. And it might seem kind of obvious, but the underlying messages in it are really important, right? Because if you're setting yourself up to be surrounded by these negative ideas, you're probably going to present those negative ideas to other people and they'll be reflected back at you. You're going to attract the same crowd that you're already in being negative, you know? So if you can make that shift to be, hey, instead of this, I'm going to try to be a little more positive. Bring a smile to somebody, right? If you can do that, then people around you are probably going to be replicating it. They're key to everyone. It kind of segues from the last point being that the people you surround yourself with, you're going to attract more of those, and when you are negative, you're probably going to be with more people who tend to complain, right? And you create that culture. It's pretty simple. opposites do not attract in people. You'll find that when you are happy, people who are happy want to be around you. When you're negative, you're probably going to not be around people that are happy. And ultimately, I think that can come down to a lot of relationships that we have. By relationships, it could be your significant other, could be your parents, family, friends, teammates, coaches, boss, anyone, right? Thinking about how your relationships with those people are, which are the people you interact with on a daily basis, is so powerful. What I mean by being powerful is that you can harness it and you can make a social interaction with somebody an exciting part of your day. It's so personal, you can't really put a blanket statement on what you need to do, but putting effort towards it is the first step, because communication doesn't just happen naturally as much as we like to think it does, but effective communication and getting the ideas down that we need is a difficult art, and making sure that we're putting our best foot forward it's a step, and that's really all you can ask for. So, those are 6 of the most important lessons I feel that I've learned in the past 278 days. I hope that you can learn something from it, and if you do, then I would love to hear about how you can employ those and hear about your journey. Thank you very much. Bye.